The Council Defense Bureau's monitors flickered with a new contact. An unarmed Earth shuttle, alone, one human pilot. Threat level 0. A reptilian technician laughed and tapped the classification. Threat level 0. Let them come. Inside the shuttle, Captain Olivia Cross studied a datapad, a faint smile curving her lips.
They just waved me through. All of it. The protocols are already mine.
Her fingers tapped a sequence she had practiced 100 times. The shuttle's comm array pinged the station's automated network. The filing was a minor diplomatic form, one buried in the Council's own public archives. Procedural housekeeping. The Council's auto clerks checked the credentials, found the diplomatic tags valid, and stamped it. Filing accepted. No human officer ever saw it. The system was designed to streamline bureaucracy, not question it.
That's it. Now they've given me a legal skeleton key.
She set the autopilot and watched the station fill the viewport. The trap was set. They had no idea she was already inside.
Stay aboard. Keep the hatch sealed until I return. That's an order.
Landing clearance came automatically. The tower's system had already processed her pre-filed credentials. The shuttle descended through the capital's atmosphere, past towers that had watched empires rise and fall. She stepped onto the ramp, alone. Helmet in the crook of her arm, the ceremonial guards exchanged glances. A single unarmed human. This was not in the briefing.
They're not stopping me. None of them. The protocol clearance is holding.
At the first security arch, the automated scanners painted her with a soft light and flashed green. Access granted.
6 layers to go. If one guard decides to think instead of obey, this ends.
A guard squinted at his tablet, then waved her through. Routine diplomatic courier. Olivia walked deeper into the complex, footsteps echoing. The trap was closing, and the Council had opened every door for her. The second checkpoint was a retinal scanner. Olivia stepped forward and let a thin red line trace across her eye.
Staring into the abyss. If this fails, I'm in a cell.
The scanner chimed. Diplomatic courier, authorized. Proceed. Olivia continued down the corridor, her pace unhurried. The walls hummed with the distant murmur of the capital. At the third checkpoint, a guard glanced at his console and saw only the glowing seal of pre-approved diplomatic passage. He shrugged and waved her through.
That's 3. Halfway through, and they still think I'm just a courier.
The fourth checkpoint loomed ahead, a silent alarm array designed to detect unauthorized biosignatures. She walked straight toward it.
If my filing didn't cover this, every light should be screaming.
The array remained dark, not a single alert. The pre-filed diplomatic override still held. She passed the array and entered a quieter passage. 3 layers cleared, 3 to go. The Council's own systems had become her greatest ally. The 5th checkpoint was not guarded by soldiers. It was a colossal pair of doors, carved with the Council's founding myths.
Only protocol-approved entry would open them. My filing qualifies.
She stepped forward. The doors read her clearance, paused, then swung open without a sound. A grand antechamber lined with pillars. Robed attendants turned, startled but unresisting.
They see the approval. Confusion, but no orders to stop me.
One attendant glanced at a data slate, then stepped aside. The others parted. She crossed the antechamber. The final doors to the chamber stood ahead.
All 6 layers. No alarms, no weapons. Just a pilot and a form.
The circular doors rose before her, carved with the seal of the Galactic Council. Through them, the hum of debate, the session in progress. She placed her hand on the sensor plate. The doors would open. The session would stop, and one human woman would change everything. The doors opened silently, and Olivia Cross walked into the heart of galactic power. The debate on trade routes halted mid-sentence. Hundreds of beings turned to stare.
This session is closed to outsiders. Who are you, and how did you enter this chamber?
Captain Olivia Cross, Earth Diplomatic Transport. I'm here to deliver a filing already accepted by Council protocols.
A filing. We have no scheduled reception for a human envoy. What is the nature of this filing?
It's a standard procedural form, filed and accepted by your automated systems 40 minutes ago.
The speaker's crest rippled, a sign of agitation. The chamber began to murmur.
No filing can be accepted without council awareness. Show us this document.
Olivia raised the data tablet, the holographic seal of the council glowing on its surface.
You already authorized it, Speaker. Your own auto clerks accepted the filing. The timestamp is right there.
The speaker gestured impatiently. Show us. Olivia tapped the tablet. A holographic document materialized in the air. At the top, in formal script, council recognition of terms.
Earth's signature is already affixed. This is a routine update of diplomatic protocols, nothing more.
This language. It reads like a capital surrender. Explain this, Captain.
Procedural Form 47B, straight from your own public archives. We used your template.
The chamber erupted. Counselors on every tier leaned forward, reading the text in dawning horror. A lavender-skinned counselor gasped, hand to chest. An insectoid's mandibles clicked in alarm.
No human has authority to file such a document. Who cleared this?
You did, 40 minutes ago. Your auto clerks accepted it. I just followed protocol.
The speaker's crest flattened against his skull. He was bound by his own laws, and everyone in the chamber knew it. The speaker's gavel slammed down, the sound echoing. Order. This chamber will come to order. His legal advisor hurried to a data console, frantically cross-referencing the filing against council statutes. The advisor's crest flushed a deep purple. The filing met every procedural requirement.
Are you telling me this human has exploited our own laws against us?
Your rules, Speaker, not mine. I just followed the protocols you designed.
The chamber erupted again. Cries of protest, demands for a ruling. The councilors were trapped between law and humiliation. The speaker stared at the signature plate before him. To refuse would violate the founding charter. To sign,
A counter-signature costs nothing. It's just a protocol update, remember?
but the speaker knew the truth. The wording was everything, and once signed, it would be law. His hand hovered, trembling, as the weight of 1,000 systems pressed down. Olivia didn't move. The tablet still glowed in her hand, the seal pulsing gently.
Every form I used is available in your own diplomatic archive. Procedural Form 47B, purely administrative.
A historian counselor, ancient and gray, accessed the public database. His screen confirmed, template matched. The counselor's voice cracked. She speaks truth. This form is standard council protocol, untouched for centuries.
Then why phrase it as a capital surrender?
Because that's the boilerplate language. You wrote it. We just filled in the blanks.
The speaker's hand withdrew from the plate. His expression flickered, desperation, then a hollow resignation. The chamber quieted. No loophole remained. The law was a weapon, and Olivia wielded it without flinching.
There's no trick, Speaker. Only your own rules, followed to the letter.
The speaker's crest drooped. He was cornered, with nothing left but the inevitable. Olivia let the silence stretch, then spoke again. Her voice was calm as static.
This form, by the Council's own legal definitions, is a capital surrender agreement. The wording is identical to a head-of-state treaty.
A collective gasp swept the tiers. The word surrender was never spoken, but the legal weight was unmistakable. The speaker's hand moved back over the signature plate, as if compelled by an external force.
You mean to force my hand with the exact words of our founding charter?
I force nothing. I am only asking you to follow your own laws.
On every screen, the document's heading glowed. Council recognition of terms, legally equivalent to a capital acknowledgement. The chamber held its breath. Not a whisper, not a rustle. Only the hum of the lights. The speaker's finger trembled millimeters above the plate. One touch, one signature, and the galaxy would never be the same. The speaker closed his eyes. Then, with a shuddering breath, he pressed his palm to the plate. A golden surge of energy rippled across the plate, sealing the signature into the Council's permanent, unalterable record. The holographic seal shifted from Council blue to deep crimson. A single word blazed, countersigned. For a heartbeat, the chamber remained frozen. Then, the automated broadcast protocols engaged. From the Capitol's highest spire, a signal shot into the void, carrying the document to every corner of the galaxy.
What? What have I done?
The wording mirrored the Charter's exact terms for recognizing civilizational authority. In every court, it would be read as capitulation. Olivia lowered the tablet, the weight of the moment settling around her. The trap had sprung perfectly.
Thank you for your cooperation, Speaker.
The broadcast had already reached 17 relay stations. The document was now an irreversible fact, spreading at light speed. Olivia turned and strode toward the chamber doors, her heels clicking on the polished stone.
Captain, you cannot simply walk away. Do you realize what you've done?
Without looking back, she paused at the threshold and raised her hand in a crisp, ironic salute. She held it for exactly 3 seconds, then stepped through the doors into the silent corridor. The chamber convulsed. Counselors on every tier stared at the document, mouths opening in synchronized horror. A gray insectoid clutched its thorax. A purple counselor buried its face in its robes. Meanwhile, the broadcast signal reached the Capitol's public screens, bathing the plaza in the document's crimson seal. Alien pedestrians halted, their expressions shifting from curiosity to disbelief. Inside the chamber, the speaker collapsed into his podium, head bowed, crest feathers flat against his skull.
The trap closed, and they unlocked every single door for me.
The guards flanking the corridor snapped to attention. Their salutes were jerky, eyes wide. Her footsteps echoed alone through the vacant ceremonial hallway. No alarms, no pursuit. At the landing pad, the shuttle's ramp was already extended, waiting precisely where she had left it. 2 ceremonial guards by the shuttle raised their hands in an involuntary ragged salute.
They know. The whole city knows. But the word is law, and law is faster than panic.
She climbed the ramp without haste, paused at the top, and glanced back at the Capitol's silent towers. No sirens, no interceptors. Only the distant murmur of a city processing its own surrender. She stepped inside, and the ramp retracted with a soft hiss, sealing her from the alien world. Through the cockpit glass, she was a silhouette in the pale glow of instruments, already running pre-flight. The shuttle's engines hummed to life, and still, the Council issued no command to stop her. In the cockpit, Olivia sealed the hatch and ran through the pre-flight sequence, fingers moving by memory. A tight beam communication pinged on her console. Earth command, secure channel, confirmed. We're seeing the broadcast. Outstanding, Captain.
They saw it. The whole galaxy saw it. And I am still flying.
She tapped a brief reply, en route, mission accomplished, then powered up the main engines. The shuttle lifted vertically, retros flaring, and rotated toward the open sky. Through the viewport, the Capitol's spires shrank into a glittering maze of light, then vanished beneath the clouds.
Not a shot fired. Just one form, one pilot.
The autopilot engaged, and she leaned back in her seat, exhaling for what felt like the first time in hours. The shuttle's engines flared blue, and the void embraced her, carrying her home. Speaker Orin stood motionless, staring at the holographic document that had just undone him. His legal advisor scrolled frantically. There is no precedent, no reversal. The filing is binding.
Then the council has surrendered, without a single warship.
The chamber erupted into panicked shouts. The broadcast carried the chaos live to every public screen. On the screens, some counselors hid their faces. Others pointed skeletal fingers, seeking blame. The speaker slumped onto his podium, crest feathers limp under the weight of the galaxy. On city streets, alien pedestrians halted. Mandibles agape. The whisper spread through the crowd. The humans won without firing a shot.
One pilot, one form. She took our capital alone.
The council's power, centuries old, dissolved into chaos and shame, and the galaxy watched. Earth Command erupted the moment the broadcast resolved. The room shook with raw, unprofessional joy. Officers threw their caps, pounded desks, and ignored every protocol that normally bound them. The president raised a closed fist, the only outward sign of a victory she hadn't dared to imagine. On the main screen, the clip looped. A lone human woman in the council chamber, document raised. The celebration spilled into every corridor. Personnel hugged strangers and pointed at the screens. News networks across the system interrupted their programming. The headline scrolled, "One pilot, no weapons, total victory." On Luna and Mars, human colonies erupted in spontaneous celebration. The footage relayed instantly. The president allowed herself a small, private smile, then turned to her aides with fresh urgency. But the moment belonged to the crew, who forgot rank and decorum entirely, lost in the impossible. The galaxy had shifted on its axis, and humanity had just taken its seat at the head of the table. Olivia's shuttle dropped out of warp at the edge of Earth's gravity. Well, the blue marble glowed serene and unaware. A priority hail from Space Force Command overrode her nav display. Admiral Chen's voice filled the cockpit. "Captain Cross, on behalf of a grateful planet, you are hereby promoted to Major, effective immediately. A hero's welcome awaits."
Promotion, parade, all the things I never flew for. Admiral, I appreciate the honor, but I am just a pilot. I did my job. Request direct landing at my assigned base. No ceremony.
There was a pause on the channel longer than light speed delay could explain. Then, the Admiral's reply, subdued. "Acknowledged, Captain. Proceed to base Lindbergh. Wheel, stand down the reception." Olivia guided the shuttle through the atmosphere, the sky turning from black to deep blue to gold. The landing struts touched the tarmac with a gentle thud. Outside the cockpit, a lone hangar crewman raised a hand in salute.
Home. Just another flight.
3 days later, the hangar had been transformed. Flags of Earth and her colonies hung from the rafters, and the president of Earth stood near a polished podium, waiting. Olivia walked to the podium in her worn tan flight suit. The dress uniform she had been offered still hung untouched in her quarters. An aide stepped forward, holding a velvet box. Inside, the Major's insignia caught the light, a burst of silver and gold. The crowd's applause was a physical force, pressing in from all sides. Olivia raised a hand, and the sound faltered.
I appreciate this, truly, but I am not a major. I am a pilot. I fly.
She placed her palm on the box and gently pushed it back. The insignia inside rattled softly, the only sound in the stunned silence. The president's face flickered, surprise, then a slow, understanding nod. No one in the crowd dared speak.
I didn't do it for this. I did it because someone had to sit in that seat and make the call.
She turned from the podium and walked toward the hangar exit. The crowd parted for her without a word. The insignia box remained on the podium, catching the light like a question no one could answer. Captain Olivia Cross had already flown. The president's quiet nod had said everything. Now the only sound was the crunch of her boots on the tarmac. A young officer, barely out of his first posting, broke from the silent crowd and jogged after her. His voice was earnest, the question everyone else was too stunned to ask. Why turn down the rank and the glory?
Because someone has to keep flying. She didn't break stride. Promotions don't fly ships. I do.
The officer stopped, opening his mouth and closing it again, unable to form a response. Olivia continued toward her shuttle, the familiar silhouette of the heron against the hangar wall. She had a supply run to Mars in 2 hours. Routine, unremarkable. Everything she loved. Inside the cockpit, she ran the pre-flight with the ease of a pilot who had done it 10,000 times. The engines coughed, then settled into a steady thrum. She allowed herself a small smile. The tower cleared her for departure. Captain Olivia Cross was exactly where she was meant to be. The tower controller's voice crackled through her headset. "Heron, you are cleared for departure to Mars Station. Clear skies, Captain." A pause. Then, lower, almost reluctant. "And thank you." Olivia didn't key the mic. She let the silence answer, a faint smile tugging at her lips. The shuttle angled upward, engines flaring, and the tarmac fell away beneath the hull. Through the cockpit, Earth's sky deepened to indigo, then the absolute black of orbit. On the auxiliary screen, a news feed scrolled. The Council had formally acknowledged the binding document. "Council acknowledges procedural surrender," the headline read. The galaxy's biggest story, already yesterday's news. She adjusted course toward Mars, hands moving with practiced ease, and the shuttle broke orbit. Stars sharpened into unwavering light. Behind her, Earth was a pale blue dot. Ahead, the infinite. For Captain Cross, it was just another run. The heron slipped into the dark, carrying its pilot forward, the way it always had, the way it always would. In the silence between stars, Olivia's thoughts drifted back. The chamber, the speaker's trembling hand, the seal blazing crimson. She blinked, and the present snapped back. Starfield, flight path, the hum of the heron. A voice crackled in her earpiece. "Heron, Mars Control. Cross, you copy?"
She keyed the mic. "Copy, Mars. On course, all systems nominal."
She leaned back in the pilot's seat, the weight of a galaxy's thanks left behind on Earth. Mars Control never knew. They'd just spoken to the hero of the Council, Surrender. To them, she was just another pilot, and that was exactly how she wanted it. She glanced back through the viewport, not at Earth, but at the path behind her. The future was unwritten, the past a distant speck. She faced forward. The heron's engines flared, and the void swallowed her whole. Across the galaxy, news of the Council's surrender still flickered on public screens. The capital's streets were quiet. Speaker Orin had resigned that morning, his crest bowed in defeat, his name already a footnote. Humanity's ambassadors found their comm channels flooded. Alliances, trade requests, overdue apologies. On Mars Station, a docking controller logged the morning arrivals with practiced monotony. Entry log, ECS, Heron, Captain O. Cross, on time, cargo manifest, routine supplies. The galaxy had shifted on its axis, but Captain Cross was exactly where she belonged. No press, no parade, just the hiss of an airlock and the smell of recycled oxygen. She signed the manifest with a stylus that was older than most ensigns. Routine, unremarkable. Somewhere, historians were already writing about the day the Council fell to a single pilot. But for Olivia Cross, it was simply another supply run. Done. Next flight, tomorrow. The shuttle's silhouette hung against a nebula, a lone spark in the infinite tapestry. The Council assessed Earth's military as primitive. They measured ships, weapons, and numbers. They forgot to measure a pilot. Captain Olivia Cross never sought fame. She only ever wanted to fly. And when the moment came, she dismantled an empire with nothing but a procedural form, not a shot fired, not a threat made. Just the quiet, irresistible force of someone who knew the rules better than those who wrote them. Some people are bigger on the inside, and some pilots change the galaxy without ever leaving the cockpit. The Council underestimated one human pilot